If you want to save half of the money of the Lightroom and Photoshop subscription of around 150 euro per year, and you want to reduce it to 70 euros a year, I have the solution for you, because there's a new software called Sonar Studio, and Sonar Studio only costs 70 euros a year, and it works exactly like Lightroom. So let me show you how you get Sonar Studio. And of course, this is only a Windows software, so let me show you how you set up Sonar Studio for free on your Mac with a virtual machine. If you are a Windows user already, just skip the next part and go directly to the explanation of how Sonar Studio works. Of course, I would never let you sit as a Mac user without solving that problem for you. And actually, I found a solution. And this thing here, this VMware Fusion Pro, it runs as a free version for private usage. So nearly everybody of you will be able to install the software, and of course they cannot see if you're using it private or commercial. So I personally bought a license for it, because obviously this is commercial. But for you, when you're private, you can use this software for free, and it makes it possible to run Windows software inside of your Mac. So this VM says virtual machine, so it installs a virtual version of Windows 11 on your Mac. So if you're a hardcore Mac user, like, this hurts, of course, but it is a possible solution. And I put this URL for this website into the notes to this video, and you can just download it and install it. You can also directly install it from the website from VMware, but there's a problem that I did not really find where I can download it there. It's a little bit stupid, so I looked it up on Chip. So after you download it, there will be classically on the MacBook the DMG file in your downloads folder. Just click it. It will open up, do a double click here in the middle, and afterwards the installation process will start. After installing it, it will ask you to grant it access to your mouse and to your keyboard. Of course, grant the software this access. You go to System Settings, and then you can find here Accessibility. There's the VMware Fusion, and you of course activate this one. You have to enter your password again. Afterwards, just click Continue. At some point in the installation process, you will be at this one here, and you need to put there a disk image of the operating system you want to install on your Mac. May it be Linux, may it be a special version of Windows, you have to put it here. And to install, in my case, Windows 11, I need to download from the Windows website the ISO file of the Windows operating system. And then I put this ISO file here, and the virtual machine will install. For that purpose, I'm now here on the Windows website to download Windows 11. And it's really important that you download here. It's called in Germany, it's called Laufwerk image. It means disk image, in English ISO. So this is what you will need, and you have to check which processor your Mac or MacBook especially has built in. So I have an M1 processor, so I will be fine to install this Windows 11 version, x64 Geräte. So this means for x64 devices, and you have to look this up for the specific type of device you have. So I now choose Windows 11 Multi-Edition, and afterwards I will just download it. As a language, I will now set English, because I'm running my whole computer in English. Okay, here I need to click here. Okay, now the download started, and it's 7.9 gigabyte of data, because it's a whole operating system, of course, and I now have to wait some time. So now after you downloaded the Windows ISO file, you can see it is now here in my downloads folder. It says your ISO disk image, and now you need to drag and drop this one just here. right, keep this away. And now just click continue and it will start to install it on your machine. So now just in the next step, just click continue. Now this is a critical step you can see here. It wants you to choose a password. The critical thing about this is you cannot just send you an email reset link for your password like you can do it as a website. So you really have to keep this password around. So just write it down on the paper and keep it somewhere next to your desk or where you can keep it safe. Here, just choose how you want to save it. It's in a folder virtual machine, so just click save. You don't really bother about this. Then the installation process of Windows starts inside your virtual machine. Just click through all of that. You don't have to be really careful because, of course, you can always just with one click uninstall your virtual machine, and of course all software and everything you've done inside of it will just disappear. So this does not affect anything else on your Mac. So the installation process is now running. This will take some time and I will just come back later. Now when you're inside of your virtual machine, you have the problem that you do not have any internet connection inside of your virtual machine. So you could not download Sonar Studio or anything else, of course. So the first thing is we need to set up the drivers to be able to have an internet connection inside of a virtual machine. And well, now this is a virtual machine. So this comes with a specific process to set up the drivers to have internet access. So you click up here on virtual machine and then we'll find install VMware tools. So in my case, it says reinstall because I've already installed it before. And if you click that, then you hit install. You can now see here, there's the information that you have now VM tools inside your drive. And you can see it here also when you open a folder here on Windows. You can see that here's a disk, a virtual disk, DVD drive, VMware tool. So this is a virtual disk. The virtual machine fakes for the Windows as it would have a virtual disk inside. So if you double click that, it will open the disk and you can now install the drivers into your Windows on the virtual machine. And you can see here there's an application file, an execution file. It calls setup, and just click this one here and it will start the process of installing all the drivers you need to have internet connection. Okay, perfect. So there's nothing else to do, and now have internet connection here, and then I can go to Sonar Studio, which only runs in Windows. Can go to download. Just go there with my email address. I probably can do this outside of the virtual machine. Okay, I found it in my spam folder. Like, this is a thing with Sonar Studio. They should check their email sending, but it's always going to my spam folder. And yeah, now I can install it. Okay, now I have the problem that this is an installation URL which would just download Sonar Studio on my Mac, but I need to have it in my virtual machine. So I right click here and copy link address so that I can use this inside of my virtual machine, which will hopefully work out. Let's see. Okay, now pasting the URL here, and now I can download here. There's an execution file downloaded. Okay, open file. Let's see. Okay, there's my Sonar Studio. Yeah, I just wanted to open up 3 versions. So this is the one version which is now trying to install inside of my virtual machine, which should work out. So it's now installed, and now we'll start with the normal tutorial. So now running Sonar Studio inside of the virtual machine on my Mac. And as you can see, those are not my images. And when you start up the software for the first time, you see this small collection of photos here, which are raw files, but are not my files. So I need to now import my files. And then, since this is a virtual machine, I will just, for the fast way, create a new folder on my desktop. So I go for new folder and I will just fast call this like raw sonar. So every time as a Mac user, if you want to use any files or get any raw files inside of your virtual machine, you can basically just drag and drop them there. So I will just go and with a finder window here. So, and I will just go to my data. This is my FTP server here. And there are all my files on it. So it's now connected. I go to 2025. I just take one folder, day one, camera 2, and I will just drag some raw files. You can just choose them here, and I can just drag them here into my virtual machine, and it actually managed now to copy the files in here. So you can see they are now here inside of the virtual machine. This is how you get all your files in and out of your virtual machine. And I can now just drag and drop those files into Sonar Studio. Okay, I couldn't drag them before because I was in develop. So I go to manager here, and then I can just drag and drop the files in Sonar Studio, and can now see I got those files now in Sonar Studio, and I can now develop those. So let's dive into Sonar Studio. I've now imported the photos here from my examples. Those are the examples of Sonar Studio itself. And when you are in Sonar Studio, you can see it actually looks like Lightroom, and this is because of the reason this is like just a copy of Lightroom. It is what it is. So, and when you're here in the manager is like the catalog are of and now we are here inside the manager. This is where you can manage your photos. You can sort them, you can tag them, you can give them color ratings, you can give them star ratings. So it works exactly like Lightroom. You can now see here in the folder structure that I personally loaded my photos into the sample photos. But you can see there, if you want to search something, you can see the complete folder structure here. And this is where you can always find your photos. And I personally always would tell you to organize your photos outside of any photo software, be it Sonar Studio, be it Lightroom Catalog. The problem is that it locks you in, and this is the main strategy of Adobe. This is why they sell you the photo cloud. This is why they sell you the Lightroom Catalog, because if you do all your sorting inside of the Lightroom Catalog, you're locked in. So if you would leave Lightroom, you would losing all the text, all the sorting of your photos, and this is nothing you want. So stay away from structuring your files inside of any photo software. So even do not do it in Sonar Studio. Just start sorting it on your drive itself. Have good categories for your photos, like by date. This is like how I sort it by date and what happened on that day, so then I can always find my photos. But never do this, because once you're locked in, you cannot go back. And Lightroom does this strategy with the photo cloud now even more. So they tell you you have like 1 terabyte of cloud data in your plan, and the moment you start using this plan to upload your raw files or your like best shots sorted in any way into the Adobe cloud, you're locked in. You cannot go out of this software, because if you cancel your plan, your cloud photos, all your sorting, all your uploads will be gone. So never sort your photos inside any photo software. So after that, the manager here, which of course I normally really hard ignore, you can find here, there's the development tools, and the development tools, they basically work the same as in Lightroom. So you have the photo here in the middle, you can press on it, you can zoom it. You have this film strip down here, you can adjust it by size, now smaller, so you have a bigger screen for your photo here. You can just press on the photos you want to have, and yeah, this is a pretty nice photo of a supercell storms in the States. And then on the right side, the first thing you see is the histogram with the exposure data for that specific photo. And you can now see that I already did some editing on this photo. So this is why there's some editing set. And here you can click through everything you want to do with the photo. Like this here is the area where you can choose some presets. I'm not using that. And then there's a specific area here, camera and lens. This is pretty interesting because you can find all the lens data here. So one of the main problems with photo software for raw processing always was that it did not have your camera and lens profiles. This problem is solved in Sonar Studio, so you can also, like in Lightroom, add all of your lenses here, and it corrects your image for the lens profile you can choose here. Then of course classical crop, nothing much to say about that. Then straighten lines, so this one here is, if I have, like you can see it here, if I have my image here, I can straighten it. You can now see here, but when it's now calculating, I just have the problem, you see it will do some strange things to it. So we'll just fast reset that and it will straighten back my image, because this is obviously only when you have like falling lines in your photo to correct the perspective of the image. Then you will find masking here. For the masking, I already added one sky detection. I will just like fast delete that one. And so this is like the most important feature for me. It's the sky detection, because I have always this split editing between the sky and between the foreground, because my philosophy is if you do touch the foreground too much, the image, the photo starts looking unnatural. But with the sky, you can go a little bit more contrast, a little bit more colors. Then it looks still realistic because your foreground is realistic. Because basically when you're there shooting thunderstorms, you come along storms with great color, great natural contrasts. And sometimes the storm looks a little bit dull, like here, of the problem that the atmosphere was hazy, and this reduces contrast and colors in the sky, but you can enhance that afterwards. So if I want to have like detect the sky, you can see here there's this landscape and sky symbol. I just click that one and now calculates my sky mask. And I was pretty much surprised. I'm not always a fan of that. I will just adjust the zoom to 300%. You can now see here the edge, the detecting edge. So the detection is pretty neat. So it's on spot on pixels here. So this, in my opinion, works even better than in Lightroom. Is the detection here around sharp edges. And of course, this is pretty nice because normally I got this main problem of masking the sky properly. So then when I want to work along, it's easily, I just can go here. I can add more contrast to the sky, can adjust the exposure on my mask. So this is basically normal raw processing, which stays in a natural manner. So like Lightroom, I personally find the raw processing in Lightroom looking really natural. So this is the same, really natural raw processing compared to other photo software, which is not Lightroom. So this is one of the most natural raw processing softwares outside of Lightroom, and I really like that one to go with. Then of course another thing you can do is like you find brushes. You can mask with a brush, so this is a classic masking with a brush. Then I have like radial brushes. I can add radials, I can add gradients, so everything I need for normal masking is here inside the developing of tools of Sonar Studio. I don't want to say too much about all those processing tools because this would be image processing. I just wanted to show you the software and how it works and how you can set it up for you as an alternative to Lightroom and to not be locked into this expensive subscription of Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom. If you're interested in Sonar Studio, just download it. I put my affiliate link into the video subscription. When you order from there, you of course get a small discount also. And yeah, this is a logical thing to do. Just install it. If you're just a solely Lightroom user, you should switch to Sonar Studio because it saves you half of the money. If you just want to go with raw processing, this is better than Lightroom because over the course of 10 years, this will probably save you over 700 euros in subscription you would otherwise pay to Adobe. And I personally don't like the product politics of Adobe, and I'm really happy with other companies now coming up with alternative software for Adobe products.